So, we got some news about Predator Badlands last month, the next installment in the Predator franchise. Not only was an official 2025 release date revealed, but that the film would follow the bond between two sisters whose relationship is put to the test as they embark on different paths.
None of my clothes fit. I think I'm going bald. And how am I gonna go to school?
She's right. Okay, let's think.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm not looking for Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants Predator style. In my opinion, Prey was a step in the wrong direction that took away the fear and power of the Yucha creature and replaced the masculine overtones of the franchise with an overly feminine one, and produced a movie with a plot driven by a singular woman's desire to prove herself in a society where the natural hierarchy had already placed her as someone integral to the survival of her people.
You know what makes women happy? Nothing. Nothing makes them happy.
1987's Predator, directed by action visionary John McTiernan, was released at a time when America was reckoning with the aftermath of Vietnam, Cold War tensions, and the onset of the Reagan era, which emphasized traditional values of rugged individualism and military might. As a result, the 80s saw a resurgence of heroic, overly masculine figures in cinema that equally portrayed America as a strong, unyielding force. Predator not only encapsulates this prowess and resilience, but also delves into themes of brotherhood, survival, and confrontation with the unknown. The original Predator film had a very simple premise. A group of highly trained paramilitary operatives, led by Arnold Schwarzenegger's Dutch, are recruited for the search and rescue of an American politician whose plane went missing over the lush jungles of Central America. Upon learning that not all is as it seems with this mission, Dutch and his crew find that they've unexpectedly become the perfect prey for a cunning extraterrestrial predator. The film's narrative hinges on the dynamics of a military team, showcasing the camaraderie and loyalty among men, and therefore adequately establishes one of masculine cinema's most deep-rooted themes: brotherhood. This team's interactions, from banter to sacrifice, illustrate a brotherhood where trust and reliance on each other are crucial. This aspect highlights a softer, though no less masculine, trait of emotional connection through shared adversity, which is best seen in the chopper transport scene in the opening act.
Bunch of slack-jawed around here. This stuff will make you a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus.
And periodically throughout the first half of the film, as the audience becomes acquainted with the cast and their personalities.
Jeez, you got a big pussy. Jeez, you got a big pussy. She said, why did you say that twice? I said I didn't because of the echo.
Every member of our paramilitary squadron in Predator presents a different facet of masculinity within their personality. Dutch is the epitome of the action hero, embodying physical power, leadership, and tactical acumen. His transformation from a confident leader to a battle-weary survivor showcases a nuanced view of masculine vulnerability. In this similar vein, Dylan is the what-if to Dutch, also embodying those same traits of power and leadership if those traits could be harnessed by a larger, more imposing structure of control. Blaine represents raw physical strength and bravado, embodying the stereotype of the muscle-bound hero but also showing the limits of brute force against an unseen enemy. Mac is physically imposing yet fiercely loyal, acting as a representation of the emotional turmoil and bonds war can create within an individual. Hawkins is the comedic relief for the film, presenting to the audience a stepping stone in the transition from boy to man. And Billy brings a mystic, intuitive approach, challenging the purely rational or physical aspects of masculinity, hinting at a broader, more inclusive definition of the term. The dense, unforgiving tonality of Valverde's jungle serves as the perfect setting for our heroes and a metaphor for the film's general overarching idea of life struggles. The jungle, much like the traditional masculine narrative, is a place for providing one's mettle. Here, men are stripped of modern conveniences and thrown back to a primal state where only the fittest survive. This environment tests not only physical endurance but also psychological fortitude. elements that are key in defining traditional masculinity. The jungle backdrop further plays into the real-world culture and politics of the time, equally reminiscent of the lush forests of Vietnam, allowing the film to explore notions of survival, guilt, and redemption that an American audience healing from war could resonate with. The jungle in Predator is not merely a backdrop, though, but an active participant in the narrative, mirroring the internal and external battles of its characters. In the more basic environment, the characters are forced into raw, stripped-down versions of themselves where only the most masculine traits, strength, endurance, cunning, ensure survival. Eventually, this all mimics an almost Darwinian theme of survival of the fittest, especially once we're introduced to the Predator. The Yautja itself is a formidable adversary, embodying the ultimate test of masculinity. It's not just an enemy, but a superior one, both technologically and physically, that pushes the limits of our human characters. The technological advancements of the Yautja's weapons represents a future where traditional human strengths might be obsolete, challenging our heroes to adapt or perish. Its ability to cloak itself and blend near seamlessly with its environments symbolizes fear of the unknown, of losing control, themes that reflect the modern masculine anxieties about relevance and power. Dutch's final confrontation with the Predator is not just external, but internal, dealing with those fears, dealing with the unknown, and being isolated from his team. This psychological depth adds another layer to the portrayal of masculinity, showing that true strength involves mastering one's own fears and doubts as well. One of the more overseen stylistic features of masculine cinema is that it often relies less on dialogue and more on action to convey emotion and story. Predator indulges this pattern where much of the character development occurs through action sequences. The minimalist approach, instead focusing on physical feats and tactical maneuvers, aligns with the perception of masculinity as action-oriented, rather than verbally expressive, as femininity usually is. What little dialogue the film does present is simply there to help reinforce everything the silence of the film otherwise explores, and additionally solidifies the personalities of our jungle platoon. Perhaps what ultimately stands as the most interesting part of 1987's Predator, and why it's become so iconic, is its ability to explore themes of honor, not just within its obvious protagonists, but within the villain as well. The Yautja are not just ruthless hunters, but in subsequent entries and in the extended lore, abides by a code of honor that resonates with the masculine ethos of respect earned through combat, a valor that also reflects the laws of the battlefield. The Yautja never goes in for the easy kill, always the worthy kill. This mutual respect for a worthy opponent adds layers to the narrative, suggesting that true masculinity isn't about dominance, but acknowledging strength in others. This theme is subtly present throughout the film, where even the Predator respects Dutch's combative skills when they come face to face in the final act. Woven in are themes of sacrifice and redemption. Dylan initially misleads Dutch into joining the mission, eventually admitting that no politician ever went missing, and instead that this was a covert operation to eliminate the guerrilla camp in order to prevent a Soviet-sponsored invasion. Dylan also discloses that the original mission team disappeared, and so did the Green Berets that were sent to find them. As the members begin getting picked off by the Predator, Dylan pairs up with Mac, when Mac vows to avenge Blaine in an effort to redeem himself. As Mac and Dylan face off with the Predator for their own reasons, Billy offers himself as the ultimate sacrifice to ensure Dutch and Anna's survival, in the process confronting his own fear of the unknown, after spending the majority of the film acknowledging the presence of their extraterrestrial foe. The legacy this film has left is almost indescribable. 1987's Predator was a hit that defied every expectation, given its very unique blend of action, sci-fi, and horror. It was the 10th highest grossing film of the year in the US domestic market, and spawned a franchise that has delivered its equal weight in comic book lore, novelizations, and even video games. It set a template for action films where the protagonist's journey is as much internal as it is external, an influence that can be seen across Hollywood throughout the 1990s and early 2000s. With such influence and unsuspecting depth, it's genuinely a shame that the Predator franchise has devolved the way it has. 1990's Predator 2 was a sequel that in no way honored the original film, in characters, styles, action, and even thematically, as the film leaned away from the silent masculine bravado and embraced a narrative that screamed Hollywood more than anything else. Additional entries watered down the original film even more, with the release of 2022's Prey being earmarked as not just a phenomenal film, but one that puts the franchise back on the right path. As previously stated, I disagree with the praise Prey receives, as it unfortunately does what many other legacy action and sci-fi franchises have done in recent years: belittled and feminized the material to better suit a modern audience that doesn't know any better. 1987's Predator is not just about muscles and guns. It's a narrative rich with themes of survival, honor, redemption, and brotherhood. It exemplifies masculine cinema by showcasing characters who are not invincible but vulnerable, not just fighters but thinkers, and not solely defined by their physical strength, but by their capacity to endure, adapt, and respect. In doing all this, Predator provides a powerful exploration of masculinity that resonates deeply with an audience looking for more than just action on screen. This film, through its depiction of what it means to be a man in the face of extraordinary challenges, continues to be celebrated as a great example of masculine cinema. It's simply a shame that the perfection of this movie seems to be wholly lost in the current state of the franchise. As always, thanks for stopping by and stay frosty, friends.